Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 8 of Xbox America's Open here at Circuit of the Americas. If you recall, last week we watched Shady drive to another one of his dominant victories at Singapore, and that has extended his championship lead to 37 points from Professor Phil. Phil has Corito on his tail, just 5 points behind, and then Cool and Sub round out the top 5 of the championship. So we tune in as qualifying gets underway. Looks like we have a few people going on mediums. That being Shady, L2, and Styled Harmony. And I have just been informed that we do have some penalties tonight. Jimmy, who you might recall from last week, has a race ban, and RSF1 Corito, who you just saw retire, has a quali ban, which I'm sure will be followed by race ban at some point, knowing his current trend. But we follow Alligator here on his first run, and I believe his teammate Godot is in front of him. As just about everybody is on track. As L2 on the first set of mediums goes through, sets a 140.032. Looks like that is a very slow lap time. As Alligator hits him with a 33.6. What a lap that is. Looks like we have Henny crossing the line. He has a 134.7. That is not going to be enough. As Sargent goes through with a 146.9, that is definitely not enough. And Godot with an invalidated lap time, just getting her back to the line. I believe we have 2 Alpha Tauris coming. First one is Twisty Canadian. He's a 135.2, and his teammate Freelance Tom goes quickest with a 32.6. Sub has just started his lap time. Godot has retired. Looks like he might have lost it on the curve. His Sparty goes through with 35.6, puts him 5th quickest for now, as we have a Mercedes going through. That was Yosit starting his lap. As Shady comes into the pits. Looked like there was someone across the line. Nope, it was just these two. As Henny on lap 2 looks like. Sets a 34.2. Improves by 5/10. Sargent improves to 34.5. And Sharky begins his first lap on his set of softs. Looks like Taquaris also just started his lap. As another Alpha Tauri goes through, looks like it was Twisty. As Sub crosses line, he sets a 33.1, goes second fastest, right behind Freelance Tom. So we have an Alfa Romeo going through. Looks like that was Cool starting his lap. As Right Yosik goes through. He sets a 33.9, followed by Styled Harmony going on his lap. There are no more medium runners. Everybody going onto the softs now, which is pretty interesting. Sharky going through to complete his first lap. He sets a 33.3, goes third fastest. Not bad from the old man. Take Reese goes through, sets a 34.4. Sticks him right middle of the order. As Phil about to set his first lap. And it is 33.4, sticks him right behind Sharky. So we have a Red Bull pulling up to start his lap. As Cool sets a 36.3. Alonso sets a 33.1. 1/1000th of a second separating him and Sub up there at the top. As we have Styled Harmony coming through for a 134.7. As we now wait on just a few guys now. Inca PR's currently in the middle of his lap. We'll ride along with the last sector. Is that rain? I do believe it is raining. Yes, there is some rain. This could get very interesting. Shady has not set his lap yet. Oh, and Inca's lost it. He retires in the penultimate corner. Just as the wet conditions start. And what does that mean for Shady? Will he experience the same troubles? I wouldn't think it's that slick yet, but it might be. As Cool as set at 32.2 during all of this. And I'm very interested to see how this lap time is from Shady. As he's now the last person that hasn't retired to set a lap. And it does not look like this could be a good lap, though. And it looks like it's going to be a very good lap. A Shady... Oh. Oh, we had some lag. Sorry. 32.8. 6th and 3rd fastest. With the rain, that's not bad. But you know that there's probably at least half a second in that lap that was lost. As it may be that he is on another lap, but with that split time, it does not look like it. As L2 is retired, leaving us with just 16 runners. As I'm not sure who's on a lap and who isn't now. Everybody's still running softs, which must mean that it's not that slick. But it could also mean that it's going to get slick very soon. And unfortunately, we don't have the forecast. So we have a caution in Sector 3. A sergeant goes through to start his lap. I believe that was Sub that just pulled in the pits. Yeah, he has aborted his run. As 5 minutes remain in this qualifying. Alligator on another lap here. I believe Cool is out there. He must think he can get at least something out of his lap still. But we went from having probably 10 plus runners out there to now just having 5. As yes, the rain is coming down harder, so the track must be getting slick. As it looks like there's no motion in the pit lane, just in the McLaren garage for any. But I say that and somebody pulls out. As Take Reese retires. And who just came out? Shady just came out. So despite the light rain, he's going to attempt another lap. As we saw Professor Phil retire. It looks like Cool has had an accident. At turn 2 there. Turn 2, turn 3. We follow Sergeant's teammate. I'm not sure if he's on a lap, but with this clock, it looks like he is. As just under 2.5 minutes remain. So you're getting to the point where everybody on the track right now is the people that are going to be on the track the rest of the time. As Tom is stuck on a set of inters. Is he coming out? There's movement in McLaren. Looks like that was Henny, I think. Nope, it was Sub. No, it was Henny. Okay. Sargent did not. Oh, he pit. So Yosit just started a lap. His teammate John also on the lap. And Shady still on an out lap. As I believe Twisty's coming to the line. So he will attempt a lap. Still DRS. So clearly race control doesn't think it's too wet yet. As Alonso has started his lap behind him. Sub retires. As well as Cool. And there is Shady spinning out. Looks like he's just messing around for a little bit. As this is, if you look at telemetry, he has both the throttle and the brake applied. Not sure if this is intentional. But I don't think so. I don't think Shady would do this. Or maybe he is. As your final order, and John intentionally retiring there. Looks like your final order will be Cool Kyogre on pole position. Beautiful lap from him to put that Alfa Romeo on top. Followed by Freelance Tom, who has shown real signs of excellence this season. And then that is followed by your championship leader, CJBR Shady, with Sub and Alonso finishing the top 5. Then you got Sharky, Alligator, the Professor, and Henny for your top 9, followed by the Mercedes duo. So the two big stories going into the race. How will this top 5 work out? With Cool on pole and Shady in third. And how far up the field will the two Red Bulls get? Down there in 19th and 20th. Two things to keep an eye out on. And I'll do my best to follow it, but I can't promise anything. So now we wait on the load times. Always our favorite part. There we go. I'll go to look at the field. And I wish I knew the forecast. If there is any sort of weather like qualifying, as that could get very interesting. But it looks like it is cloudy, so there might be a chance. Who knows? Well, the drivers know, obviously. As turn 1, very sharp hairpin, as those of you probably know, it will be a challenge to see these guys try to get through turn 1. As I believe everybody's still on there. Everybody but Sparty on soft tires. Okay. So Sparty trying to do some strategy magic, as I would if I were 16th as well. But everybody else on softs. And I believe that the US, that quota is a 2-step. Soft, medium, medium. Or maybe a 1-step, soft, hard. But I would predict Sparty's trying to go either medium, medium, soft, or medium, medium, or medium hards. I would predict the second one personally. Well, I would think everybody except a few are going soft, medium, medium. Of course, safety car will have a play in this. I'm going to predict 2. We'll find out if I'm right or not. So here we go. Oh, soft, soft, medium. I was wrong. All right, everybody lining up, and now we await for the famous 5 red lights. Cool on pole. Freelance Tom right beside him. Shady in third, eager to get back to the front. As there's 5 lights and no lights as we get underway. Looks like Tom had a little bit of a better start from Cool as Shady drops alongside Sharky coming from way in the back. Is there 4 wide going into turn 1? It looks like there was some contact back there. It looks like we were all through cleanly. As Sharky moves up to 5th, looks like he lost some positions after the initial start. And Tom right on Cool's tails. We already have a caution at the back of the field. Looks like it was nothing major. As these 3 have started to pull away from sub, with Sharky and Alonso right behind him, I'm assuming all 3 of them will be right there together. We'll see if Sharky can get any sort of momentum. Does not look like he will. Or will he? He's alongside. Who's gonna pull through? Is there 3 wide going into there? And Alonso gets by both of them. Splendid move. Sub cuts the corner a little bit, suffers some, and he will have to fall back to 6th. What a move from Alonso. Sparty is retired from the session. Gee. I wonder if that had anything to do with this guy here. As he has moved up 6 places so far. His teammate moved up 2 or 3 back there in 17th. There's quite the battle zone on up here for what seems to be 8th or 9th. The sub already has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but you know those warnings came from corner cutting. As Alonso is pulled away from Sharky and is now closing in on these three. Will he get anything done? That would be a little bit of a shock. As Phil has brought the train of everybody else to the back of sub, and there's your rain. I called it earlier that there might be some rain. Looks like we got it. Although the predicted strategy didn't call for Inter, so I wonder if it's just going to be like this for this time as Phil goes down the inside of the sub. Looks like it will be done before the corner even starts, as Josip closes up real quick to the back of him. Carito makes a move up to 13th on Styled Harmony. Oh boy, gotta fix that line there, Twisty. It looks like Sargent could be setting Henny up here. Henny way offline, tries around the outside, doesn't make it stick, and we'll have to wait for another time. As Tom seems to be right on the back of Cool here. DRS enabled. I predict this will be done before the corner even starts. Goes down the inside. And now, oh, a little bit of contact there, but yes, the move is done. Shady watches all of this unfold. Looks like Sub, or Phil has made it past Sub, almost got by Sharky in the process. As Carito on his hunt to the front. Ooh, call me a poet. On his hunt to the front, he has made it up to 13th and has had to settle for a little bit, although Twisty looked a little bit slow there. Doesn't look like anything was going to happen for a little bit. As people are already diving into the pit, Sharky, Sub, and Josip, Henny, Carito, are they all throwing inters on? Are we already at that point? We are. Inter's going on. Interesting. So 5 people in the pits throwing inters on. We'll see how that works out for them. As it does look like inters could be needed soon. I don't think yet though. Because I believe, yeah, DRS is still enabled. Cool, setting up Tom here for what I would predict would be an easy move. Shady just a little bit down the road. And yes, it is done before it even happens. Shady closing up real quick there. As further back, Canadian breezes by Sargent. And Inca watches that unfold. As, yes, look at the track, it is definitely time for inters. Inca going way late on the brakes. Sargent, like a worm out of that corner. Inca diving down the inside, takes advantage of the worm, and moves up to 8th. Will there be any spins in this area? Cool. Top 3 pits. I assume everybody will pit this lap. So who will come out in front? As yes, everybody's coming in. Oh! Alright. Well, that happened. But it looks like your top 3 has stayed the same. And now, wait, where is everybody else popped out? I think Sharky was already on enters, right? Yes, he is now up to 6th. And Credo, who's behind him, is up to 9th. He's gained 4 spots. So the early enters seem to have paid off. Although I wonder if they will be able to keep it with the slightly more worn tires. As now Shady's right on the back of Tom. No DRS now, I don't believe. No DRS. Will he make anything happen? I do not believe so. He's quite a ways behind. Although he's gaining red. Nope, early on the brakes. As right behind us, Phil takes a peek-see. But does not make anything work. As now, Credo looked for a Maki Bomb. Did not make it happen. So we have a little three-way battle here. Twisty with quite the lockup. Inca trying to take advantage of that lockup. Does not. Just a little bit of a switchback. Is there contact? I'm not sure. But, oh! And Twisty into the wall. I did not think there was any contact. I didn't hear anything. But there very well could have been. As now Twisty drops to the very back. And has to... I think I would believe he has to change his front wing after hitting the wall. Didn't he hit the wall? I'm not sure, actually. As yes, Twisty is in the pits to change his wing. Farther up the field, Sub still on the back of John. Getting very close to that gearbox. But we'll see if he can get anything going down the back stretch. As a little bit of a train has piled up behind him. As here they go. Credo also trying to get a move done on Sub. Takes a peek from a ways back. Gets nothing done. As it appears, John is quite slippery in a straight line, but has had quite the train gathering up behind him. And Shady takes a bit of a scenic route. And there's the contact that I was wondering about. Contact made between Sub and John. John now back to 8th. About to be back in 9th. As Credo takes advantage of the contact. John runs way wide. And has to fall back to 9th. So it does appear that these two are now released from John. Sub and Credo. So will they be able to catch Sharky, who is kind of by himself? So Inca grabs another time penalty. As Shady has been stuck behind Tom for quite a few laps now. And Cool pulling away by good margin. He's now 4 seconds up the road. As John has continued to grow a train of cars behind him. I wonder how soon if at all, will that train dissipate? So we now seem to have quite the boring race on our hands. There's a caution. Sector 2, is that Twisty again? Yes, it is. Poor old Twisty. As Shady makes quite the lunge around the outside. I don't even know what turn that is. Turn 9, I think. Turn 10, maybe. And makes quite the move on Tom. So now, will he be able to reel in Cool, who is pulled away by 5 seconds in just about 4 laps? As we go back to John and his train, as it doesn't look like any of them are able to get close enough. As Tom has really fallen behind. He sits 1.5 seconds behind Shady in just half a lap. So that's how much Shady has been held up. Although it doesn't seem to have helped much, as he's already lost roughly 3/10, 4/10. Too Cool. Is Yosef right behind Styled? Will he get anything done? Seems a little bit far back, and he'll have to wait. Though very late on the break, contact's made. An Alligator, keen to capitalize, with Henny right behind him. As Yosa gets away, just barely. And we just watched that penalty happen. We watch Yosa make quite the desperate move. Doesn't get it done. As John continues to build that train. And runs wide there. And Yosa trying to capitalize. Will Alligator make anything of this? Does not look like it, but John runs a little wide. He attempts a crossover on his teammate. Gets nothing done, as Henny looks to have spun out back. Excuse me. Now, sorry, I lost my train of thought with Henny. And now, it is Alligator's turn to give us John, who has not let go of his teammate yet. That gap between Shady and Cool at the top is still growing. It's now up to 6 seconds. So Cool appears to be the faster car. And I'm not sure if that's in the wet or at Coda, but at this moment, he's faster. As Corrido, we missed it, but Corrido has made it past Sub and moves up to 7th, so he is up 13 spots so far. We still have 16 laps to go. 17, 16. It's L2 now on John. He made it past Alligator, lunges down the inside. Alligator watching all this unfold. John runs wide. And Alligator into the wall and into the barrier. And that's it. Trying to capitalize. And the first safety car has come out. As Inca gets another penalty that we just watched. And the field stacks up. So now what? Do you pit? Henny's pitting. He needs his front wing though. So who's the first? Sargent? He does not pit. And Twisty is the next one. Will he pit? I would assume no, since he got a front wing. So now we're to the front of the field. As Cool, who had his lead up to 7 seconds there, has to watch Shady get bigger in his mirrors. That is not typically a good thing to watch happen, but it appears he's faster right now. As Shady dives into the pits. I thought somebody might. Tom will follow him in. Will Alonso? Alonso will as well. Phil won't. Neither will... Or Sharky does seem to make a very late decision. And it seems like everybody's pitting. Except just a few. As that appeared to be quite the call from Shady, Tom, and Alonso, as they only lost one position. They now have, what, 8 laps fresher tires? Then Cool, your leader, and they only have to get by Phil, who also has older tires. So that could have been a brilliant move from Shady, Tom, and Alonso. Only time we'll find out. As we take a quick break. Alright, and we're back. So, your mid-race rundown. L2 is up the most. He's up 11 positions. Creative short, or not far behind in 9 with 9. Everybody on the inters, obviously, and we have quite a few penalties. That being Sharky with 3 seconds, L2 with 3 seconds, Yosa with 3 seconds, Sub with 3 seconds, Inca with 9 seconds, Harmony with 6 seconds, Henny with 6 seconds, and Twisty with 3 seconds. We had a few come into the pits. I think it was Style and Take Ease. Twisty's still playing catch up. Not been his race. But looking at the order, Cool's still in first. He's on the old tires, with a little bit of buffer back to the new tire runners. And then we have John back here. I don't think Carino has new tires, but I could be wrong. And we have that whole train that is likely going to be behind John now. A safety car comes in this lap. So now pace is up to Cool. And it's up to Shady to dispose of Phil as fast as he can and try to stick to the back of Cool. As we remember that Cool had a roughly 7-second lead before the safety car came out. As there Cool goes, Phil right behind him, as well as Shady. Alonso caught slack on a little bit, as everybody tries to warm up their tires. As Shady runs very wide at turn 1. Farther back, Carrito gets by John as quick as he can. Yosa tries to get a move in. Tries a little bit of switchback. That won't work there. And that train behind John already building. Back at the front, looks like we have a group of around 5 up here behind Phil and Cool. We'll see if Shady can get anything going into the back stretch. The Sub gets by Yosa further down the order. And nothing happening at the front. Everybody too far spaced. As Henny takes a look on Sargent. Doesn't get anything done. As further at the front, Yosa and Sub still side by side. As Yosa has to back out of that one. And very close to making contact, as Carrito's got the top 5. So starting in 20th, he has now moved up 14 positions and runs in 6, as Twisty Spins again. Shady gets a 3-second penalty. That's not very helpful for his case. It's further down the order. It's like... what's going on here? I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, Inca's in the pits. Okay, that makes sense. That was very confusing for a moment. As this top 6 still very tight together. As Shady, ERS enabled, trying to stick to the back of Professor Phil. As John gets a 3-second penalty. Now, Shady's close. Is he close enough? I don't think so. As, yeah, Corito got by L2. I missed that, but it happened. As Shady did make a move on Phil. And he makes it stick. A little bit of a drift coming out of the double right-hander. But now, it's back up to Shady to catch up to Cool again. This top 6 still very tight together, but now it seems to be spacing out to top 4. John into the pits. As Shady pulls away from Phil, closed up to Cool just a little bit, and it will try to take that lead at some point. Probably very soon here. Is now L2 very close to the back of Corito. Will he make a look as Corito made on him? Very close in the draft, all the way to the left-hand side of the track. Quite an aggressive move by Corito, but it seemed to have a lockup by L2, and Corito keeps the position. Shady is closing up ever so slightly to the back of Cool. Was down to 0.7 of a second, but those new tires seem to be paying off little by little. Now Alonso, who's also on fresh tires, tries to get by Phil as well, as Corito does have new tires, looking at the stop count. As Josef has made his way to the pits, as have a number of other drivers. Shady now within 0.8 of a second. And L2 right on the back of Corito. A little bit of spin coming out of the corner, but he is right on the back. As is Alonso on Phil. Will he make anything work? Will L2 make anything work? He's already looking to the left. As both of these two have ERS enabled, nothing happening there. Nothing happening between these two either. Everybody just waiting for their turn. As these two are fluttering between 7/10 and a second, but at the same time you gotta remember that Shady has that 3-second penalty, and as of now, he's barely finishing second. That will definitely be a burden on Shady, but I do believe he can persevere through that. I had to search for that word. As Phil darts to the left of the track, trying to cut away from the draft that is given. L2 very late on the brakes, got very close to Burrito's gearbox. As he just stays there. Just stuck to the back of Corrido. I've never seen L2 race, but he seems to be very quick. Shady now within half a second of Cool. Very burnout happy. And lost quite a good chunk of time. Going down the backstretch, he will not get anything done there with that kind of gap. And L2 right on the back of Corrido. I'm very impressed from L2 here. As he is definitely looking for an opportunity to get by Corrido here. But runs wide and loses some time. During the course of all this, Sub, I haven't watched his time, but he has made it past everybody. He's kind of in no man's land in this race, but it appears that he might be slowly catching these four. Phil is doing a brilliant job defending that third place, although he does run wide there. Loses a little bit of time, but it does not seem to matter, as he remains in third for now. Just 8 laps remain in this race, and it could be a brilliant drive, as there is a spin in Sector 3. I believe that was Harmony that just retired. As Corrido gets his 3-second time penalty. Wow. L2 just sticking to the back. He looks down the inside. Corrido running wide, trying a switchback, but L2 blocks it perfectly, and now it's a drag race. It's I would say a quarter mile, because, you know, Vin Diesel, funny, but I have no idea how long this is. It's L2, makes a little bit of a look, Corrido blocks him off, and Corrido has won the drag race. Very interesting battle between some of the what I would say is the faster guys in the league. As Shady has left the session. Oh no. Shady has left the session. Is he having connection issues? I've never known him to have connection issues. But if he does not join back, that is really going to suck. Shady's joined. Looks like he's back, but he will likely have to give up any thoughts of a win there. That really sucks. That was getting mighty close between those top two. Is Shady back yet? He's not yet. But we go back to these four. Is L2 still right in the back of Corrido? As Shady is back now. That's good to see. L2 right in the back. Will he make a look at the same spot? He does. Corrido around the outside of L2. Another drag race, this one not as close as before. As Alonso still pursuing Phil. He is not close enough. L2, will he make any sort of move? He sends it down the inside on Credo. Bit of a lockup. Makes Credo go the long way around. And he makes the move work. What a brilliant move. His sub has very sneaky caught up to the back of these guys. Now L2 up to 5th place, where he was roughly 5 laps ago. As made a brilliant move on Credo there. And now sets off after Alonso. Will he make it to 4th? Although these guys do have penalties. I don't remember how much. Just 3 seconds. So they will still finish 5th and 6th regardless at the moment. As Credo's fallen behind just a tad. Are his tires worn? Does he have damage? He seems to have a lot of understeer. He may have some damage because it looks like he's a lot of understeer. We'll take a look if Sub gets by him. As Phil runs wide, Alonso's still pursuing Phil. L2 now after Alonso. He's gaining. Will he make a move? He sends it, takes a little look, forces Alonso a little bit wide, but does not make anything stick. It looks like further down the field, quite a battle is turning up between Twisty and Yosud. But everything else appears to be fairly quiet. Here's Tom on Sargent. Nothing looks like it will happen here, so those Sargent really early on the brakes seem to catch Tom out a little bit. He makes a little bit of a dive, but I don't think he really wanted to do that. Is now L2 on Alonso. Very close. Will he make a move? He will. Lock up. Down the inside of turn 1. Alonso around the outside. Gets the traction down. A little bit of contact. But Alonso retains his position. His L2 just looks insanely fast out there right now. Ooh, runs a bit wide. Looks like he gets the run. Not really, no. But will he get anything down the back stretch? He's fairly close. Does not follow the draft, which is an interesting move. Still gaining. Alonso's out of ERS. That would explain the lack of pace there. And move's done, although Alonso comes back around the outside. Contact's made. Now Alonso still on the right-hand side of L2. I keep messing up the positions. And Alonso retains the 4th. Some amazing defense from Alonso there. As there's a spin over at the hairpin. Looks like that is John. As Credo still watching all of this unfold. Back there in 6th. And of course Sub is also in a position to capitalize if anything happens. But Phil loses the rear end going down the front stretch. Alonso takes 3rd. Will L2 capitalize? I don't know. But Phil looking down the inside of Alonso. Doesn't get anything to stick. L2 trying to capitalize. Doesn't get anything. Although he's taken a look in the S's. But has to wait. It's a very smart move at that moment. But now Alonso has been released from Phil on the fresher tires, remember? And he is free to set out as Shady's been slowly clawing his way back. As Phil now has a 3-second penalty. L2 loses the rear just a little bit. Looks down the inside. A bit of a lockup. Phil round the outside. Trying to defend his position as it's now a drag race. A little bit of bumpers. Remember, rubbing is racing. And L2 is taken fourth for the moment. Is Phil looking down the inside. Looking. L2 very late on the brakes. Phil loses the rear again on those old tires, remember? And L2 is taken fourth position. Quite the battle has unfolded at the end of this race. And now it is up to L2 again on Alonso. But remember, Alonso does not have any penalties, which is very crucial right now. And now, DRS has been enabled. Everybody dives into pits except Corrido. Corrido is not in the pits. Neither are Shady. Cool's in the pits. Shady is not. To be fair, it does look like a wet track still. But everybody is in the pits. Not everybody. I already classified all that. But 3rd through 7th is now on their set of softs for the last 4 laps of this race, as more people are coming in for the softs. And Jeff has come over the radio and told them that the slicks are faster. And we'll see. The track still looks awfully wet for slick tires. But we'll see where Shady ends up with Cool. And also remember, was Sub and L2 has been caught out majorly in the pit stop cycle. As Phil now in 5th. Oh, come on. Sub in 6th. He jumped quite a number. But it does not look like staying out has done anything for Shady's. I'm assuming he's going to pit this lap. Yes, Shady in this lap. Track looks pretty dry now. So Shady's in. Cool is right behind him though. As Corrido comes in. Cool. Across the start-finish line. He flies by Shady. And that is all about that. So now, this is all up to Cool to lose, as Alonso now, with penalties, is finishing second. This could be a brilliant race for him. All he has to do now is be smart and just sit behind Shady. Which is a lot easier said than done. Looks like Yosit had to spin on the final corner. L2 gets another penalty trying to catch up to Sub. I'll take a look at penalties now. Still a bunch of 3-second and 6-second. Too many for me to go over. As Alonso trying to make a move on Shady on track. He's trying to take that second position in real time. As Phil is also right behind these two. And he may make a move on Shady. Shady has been quite slow today. Sitting there in 3rd as Alonso has driven away a little bit. Of course, all he has to do is get no penalties, and he's in 2nd. But now it's up to Phil to maybe snatch a podium. as L2 sets the fastest lap time at 35.9. Phil still on the back of Shady. How much penalties does Phil have? They both have 3, so this is for the final spot on the podium. Runs a little bit wide there and is going to lose a good chunk of time. The Sharky sits at 35.5 on the soft tires. As now, Shady does not have DRS, but Phil does. Will Phil get the move done? I think he could. He's down to 2 seconds. He's going around the outside of Shady. Shady, very early turn in. Tries to cut Phil off. Does not work. Phil gets the power down. He has the advantage. Going into the double right. And has the move done. Shady back to 4th. Will he fall into Sub's hands? I don't know. Nobody knows. Although Sub does have 6 seconds of penalties. So Phil has snatched. There goes Cool with your fastest lap, 34.5. Phil has snatched 3rd position from Shady. As Corrido sets at 34.4. He sits back in 7th after staying out on the inters in extra lap. As the final lap has commenced, Sub now looking to make a move on Shady. I wonder if Shady has a wet setup, because he has been a lot slower in this very late dry stint than in the wets. He's also out of ERS. That's not good, but so is Sub. Everybody's out of ERS. But here is the man of the day, as John gets another 3-second penalties. I don't even want to know how many he has, but I'm going to look anyway. 12 seconds. His teammate Yosit has 15. But this is the man of the day, and the Alfa Romeo has driven an absolutely amazing race. Held the lead from start to finish. Took in pole position. I believe he still has fastest lap. Nope, Corrido has it. But Cool Kyogre crosses the finish line, takes the fastest lap, and takes the victory at Coda. Alonso, who's driven an amazing race as well, he comes home 2nd. Phil comes home 3rd after a big gamble. Shady comes home 4th, collects Sub in an accident for 5th. Corrido comes home 4th. What? L2 7th. I'm not sure how that happened, but we'll look later. Henny crosses the line 8th. Goodell follows in 9th. And Tom hauling that AlphaTauri into the 10th spot. Sharky following in 11th. Twisty following both of them. He will take 11th on penalties. Sargent, he will haul that Alfa Romeo home to 13th. Take Reese, bringing the Ferrari home in 14th. Inca right behind in 15th. Some contact at the end there, as Yosit will not even make it to the line. That's unfortunate. His teammate, John, had that train behind him, then had a few spins. Does beat his teammate. Oh, that would have been funny if he didn't. But he will bring the Mercedes across the line in 16th. There you have it. Coda all wrapped up. Cool Kyogre with a absolutely amazing drive takes the victory at one of the more difficult tracks, with Alonso in 2nd and Phil with his gamble at the beginning, not taking the fresh inters, rounds off the podium. So, one final run through. Cool, and a absolutely, I can't say it enough, an amazing race from Cool. He takes the victory in Alfa Romeo. Alonso, another amazing race, takes second in the Haas. Professor Phil, also an amazing race, takes third. Carrito, from the back of the grid, hauled his way through to take fourth. Sub, in a very uneventful race in that McLaren, just kind of sneaked through. He takes fifth. Shady, in a very broken Alpine, takes sixth. L2, very quick, but the penalties put him in seventh. Godot, Henny, Tom, your top 10. So, with that said, thank you for tuning in to round 8 of Xbox America's Open here at Coda. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, night, etc. And we will see you next time.